of your heart is here. The other half is somewhere. Is it on a crush or the food you want to cook later or something, but your heart is not here. It's undivided devotion, and avoid everything that is wrong. That is when wisdom comes. Wisdom stays. Wisdom stays with undivided devotion. In NIV, it's put like this: do not be wise in your own eyes. Proverbs 3 verse 5 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. The person who is intellectually proud leans on his own understanding. When you are proud, you are too intelligent. You lean on your understanding. You lean on what you know. You lean on your sense, your first class, second class, whatever be your degree. You lean on it, so you do not go back to God. That is why I would say the person who is prayerless is a person that is proud. What can God give me? Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. So when you lean on your understanding, it shows a sign of an intellectual, proud person. Let's look at this interesting story. Matthew 13, verse 54 to 57. NIV. Matthew 13, verse 54 to 57. This is the story of Jesus in his hometown. He came to his hometown. He began teaching the people in their synagogue, and they were amazed. Where did this man get his wisdom and these miraculous powers? They began to ask. 55. Is this not the carpenter's son? Ha! We grew with this man. We know him. We know his parents. Is this not the carpenter's son? Isn't his mother's name Mary? I know his family, rich house. Aren't his brothers Jane, Joseph, Simon, and Judas? 56. Aren't all his sisters with us? Where then did this man get all these things? 57. And they took offense at him. But Jesus said to them, a prophet is not without honor, except in his own town and his own home. 58. And he did few miracles because of their lack of it. Let me tell you, many times the reason for your unbelief is because you have too much sense. Because you have too much knowledge. Because you have too much knowledge. What did they want to receive from Jesus? When someone that they know, their brain could not process it. Somebody that I know, rich house. Which miracle does he want to give me? Carpenter's son, yeah. That he used to be with his father nailing table and chair. What does he want to give me? They couldn't get the miracles from Jesus because of their lack of unbelief. Many times when you don't draw, you don't receive, it's because of too much familiarity with what you know that you are not ready to know more. They thought they knew better. They judged Jesus, but based on what they already knew. Not the carpenter's son. They could not reconcile their preconceived knowledge about Jesus. They couldn't. Intellectual pride will always say, I already know everything I need to know about this person. What else? What other truth? That's intellectual pride. They were evaluating Jesus through what they knew. His family background, occupation, social standing. So what they want to draw from him. Your unbelief is your too much belief in what you know. Your unbelief is your too much belief on what you already know. So you can't draw. When you come from prayer meetings, come from miracle meetings, you are processing in your head when they say, do this. Open your mouth, make this declaration. How will this thing be? I beg it doesn't work. Somebody came to my office, I think a few days ago. She was sharing with me. She said it got to a point where she was going through a whole lot, and then she came, crying, sharing a lot of things with me. And she said something. She said somebody told her to come for the meeting, refresh, come for a prayer meeting. Somebody started to watch a particular, prayer meeting that goes on every morning. Most of us already know what I'm talking about. And she just said, I beg you, what are they preaching? She was telling me, she was being honest, she was vulnerable. That the preacher doesn't know what she already knows, what revelation. I beg, there's nothing she wants to take again. Nothing new. She even went as far as analyzing that the person is doing it for money. The person is doing it for this, the person is doing it to cut. You know, when you are used to a lot of things, you have become too analytical. There's nothing revelational to you anymore. There's nothing. Intellectual knowledge. Intellectual pride. When you have gotten so used to what you know, there are people that are too intelligent, very intelligent, too naturally intelligent that what do you want to tell them? What do you want to tell them about God? I was in the US for refresh, and then somebody came to my office, and she was battling with depression. She flew in for the program. And she was sharing with me, she said she graduated, top class in one of the best universities in the US. She's not Nigerian. She did this, she did that. She mentioned all her records. About, she was not talking. She said that this is why she's coming back to church, because she has seen that after everything, nothing else works. With everything, she has paid heavily. She was battling with some depression. She paid heavily from one therapy to another. Do you know the funny thing? Before she got there, somebody told her, invited her to church. She said, what do they want to teach in church that she doesn't know? She can pay her medical stuff. She can do a whole lot. She flew in, all the way. She did 2 flights to come for Refresh USA. She can do this. She was one of the partners. So what do you want to tell her? But after everything, she knew that there was something more. When you understand that it is not of your intelligence, but it's of Him that you are standing, you will draw more. Let's look at this another very interesting story. 1 Corinthians 1 verse 27 to 31, TPT. 1 Corinthians 1 verse 27 to 31, TPT. But God chose those whom the world considers what? Foolish. To shame those who think what? They are wise. God chose the puny and powerless to shame the what? The high and mighty. The person you never think God will use because you think you are too intelligent is the person you see that God is using. 28. He chose the lowly, the humble, the laughable in the world's eyes. Nobodies. So that he will shame what? The somebodies. People that have class, that don't know that their class is as a result of God. He will shame. The person you look down on, God is lifting up. The person that you can't strike conversation with, you look at the person, you call the person weak person, feeble, is the person that God is looking at. You know the story of David? When Samuel came, Jesse didn't even remember whether he had a son. Because why? Eli looked like it. He had the look of the next king. The second looked like it, had the look of the next king. You know how we judge things? This person looks like who can occupy the position. But Samuel, having counted all the 7 sons, is there not a son in the house of Jesse? Maybe that's when Jesse's heart remembered, oh, there is a David at the backside tending sheep. He chose the lowly, the laughable in the world's eyes, nobodies, so that he will shame the somebodies. For he chose what is regarded as insignificant, not to supersede what is regarded as prominent. I'm not the right person that God should use. I'm not qualified in any way. When I was growing up, I remember one of my mom's friends, she'll come to the house and say, this is your daughter, very weak, very lazy. I'm not the one. When I was even graduating from school, I didn't even graduate well. I'm not saying that you should be dull. I'm not saying you shouldn't be hardworking. But beyond it, there are many people who are diligent, but they are not there.